Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine.
Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.
Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. I'm so ecstatic and delighted to be joined by Wanda Vaughn. She is incomparable. You're talking about lead singer for the Emotions, Grammy winning, just singing and music that just has literally been the soundtrack of our lives for decades. So welcome.
Oh, thank you, Moshe. You're so sweet.
And I'm so delighted to be in your home. Thanks for inviting us over.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad you're here. I met you some time ago with Wayne.
Right.
And I was like, wow, and it was a mishap meeting because I was going through things. But I'm so glad we got back together.
No, absolutely.
And then with my friends that you also know.
Sure, yeah, same. We got
that was
to
great.
hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to roll back the clock a little bit and just talk about this musical legacy that you've helped create. Just what it was like growing up with the Hutchinson family back in Chicago, like try to roll back the clock before all the hits and all the celebrities. What was that like?
Wow. Before all the hits and all the celebrities.
Yeah.
Well, my father, Joseph Hutchinson, he had a group. He's from Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana. And his mom was the talent coordinator for Dick Van Dyke's brother, Jerry Van Dyke, the Jerry Van Dyke Show.
Yes.
And so she got us on there one Sunday, and we sung "Tell Him What You Want." Jesus is on the main line. And we won.
Wow. And it was the Hutchinson Sisters, or you were Hutchinson Sunbeams, or you didn't even have a name then?
No, we didn't. The Hutchinson Sisters.
Okay, right.
It was probably the family, so because Dad was playing guitar.
Ah,
but Terre Haute, Indiana, and we won that way. Then we got a chance to come back.
Right.
And then we saw the other young people who were also trying out or in the amateur show.
Right.
And it was so great. But his mom is how Dad, stayed with us with the music because they were the Hutchinson, Terre Haute Hutchinsons. Because, his mom, after the Jerry Van Dyke Show, we always sang in Chicago. We always sang, Dad used to write insurance.
Right, okay.
Al Abrams Pontiac in Chicago, 57th Street.
Sure.
50, Al Abrams Pontiac. We did the commercials.
I was just going to ask you, you did the voice?
Yes, we did the voices, the singing. And, but anyway, so we had a radio show.
Sure.
But in the showroom of the Pontiac dealer, they had the microphones, set up. And Sid Ordower was the host. And right now in Chicago Library, they have that whole segment of Jubilee Showcase. That was the name of it.
Wow.
And then we happened to see it on YouTube too. Not too long
so it's
ago.
all been saved.
Yes.
So we got to turn back this a bit though and catch it. You talked about a radio program. I mean, how old were you all at this time?
Well, about 6, 7, 8.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because Dad had a group called the Wings of Heaven.
Okay.
And they sang in Chicago, and all the major groups that would come there, the Blind Boys, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, he would always take us to see them.
Yes,
So I was always trying to squall, like the Mighty Clouds of Joy lead singer. And he had us, we would watch the Lennon Sisters.
Wow.
What's that show that would come on with all the violins and
Lawrence Welk Show.
Lawrence Welk Show.
Okay,
And we loved the 5-part harmony. They would have that harmony.
Yes.
So Dad had us singing 4-part harmony.
Right.
So with all of us, we would do teas and we would do, because Dad worked in the steel mill.
Right.
So we had to supplement. He had 6 kids. So we supplemented with us doing certain gigs around town.
Right.
And we were on the Jubilee Showcase. Let's start there.
Okay.
Because that's where we started with the union, because you had to be in the union to be on TV, which is great. When I found out all these years later and all these kids, because they got to use the benefits.
Right,
yes.
Exactly. Wow.
But anyway, so Jubilee Showcase, every Sunday we come on. We, the Norfleet Brothers, the Emotions, and the Staple Singers. So it was just a wonderful, we did it for about 3 or 4 years, till we were about 14, 15. And I know at the time we would always go to the Regal Theater to see all the R&B shows.
Right.
And I remember seeing, it was called the Regal Theater. Right. And it's a staple in Chicago. Right. It was like, you have to go there.
Yeah, that's the place.
The 5 stair steps won
Wow.
their contract there. We won our contract with Stax Records at that theater.
Wow.
And Michael Jackson and them came because Indiana is like a step across, you know, from Chicago. So they would always come in. Yes. And my father got to know Joe by that, you know. And me and, what's the oldest boy? Not Tito, Jackie.
Yeah.
We were the same age.
Okay.
Because we had prom together, you know, anyway. And he had to do a show, and I couldn't miss because there's only 3 of us. Sure. But he could miss. But anyway, just stories. And but they would come in and they would play at the Guys and Gals or the High Chaparral. And we had So I Could Love You had just started making the rounds. We were with Isaac Hayes, so that was 69.
Right.
68, 69. The Jubilee Showcase was 59, 60, you know, right in there. Well, when we won, Jerry Van Dyke, that was 59.
Right, okay.
So we were really little.
Amazing at just such a young age to be already in the mix like this.
Yeah, and you know, incredible. Dick Van Dyke is still living.
Yes.
That's amazing, and his brother lived a long time too.
Sure,
but I'm just saying they were so much alike, and just so funny. Anyway, but talented, of course. So 59, 67, I think maybe, with Isaac Hayes, because we signed contracts. So I Could Love You came out. We recorded it in 68, December. Right. And 69 it came out. Wow. So that was the big things. Sheila wrote it, So I Could Love You. Sure. Do we have that up? No, because those were CBS.
Okay, right.
We hadn't got there yet.
Right. Let's go to the church that Mahalia Jackson went to. How did that all come about?
Oh my gosh. She had seen us on TV, like everyone, and then we listened to the radio program in the morning. Right. And so we went there and we said, oh, I have these young ladies. We have a picture. It's in one of those albums too. With her looking up at us. She says, why are you teaching them, girl, all those hard melodies, those hearts? How are they able to learn that stuff? The 4-part harmony. And she was just at, well, if they ever want to go to Juilliard or go to a, let me be involved. Wow. I want to help, you know. Well, who's teaching them? I mean, how are they learning? Dad, he's teaching us. Wow. He played with 3 fingers or whatever, but he was the one teaching us, you know, everything.
So I want to tease that out because, of course, that is part of the signature, the harmonizing and the way that you all do it. I mean, that's one of the key elements that's allowed the music to stand such a test of time.
And my father had a voice like the guy, it's a shame. It's a shame. Cuba Gooding.
Oh, Cuba. Okay.
Cuba. My dad had a voice like that. And Dad, in his group, The Wings of Heaven, he would always sing the smoky type songs and all that. But he taught them, and it's not Dad had any former training or anything. He just went by ear. And so, but he always liked, you know, for us to have, you know how we have doo-doo-doo-doo wow? He always liked for us to be in an ensemble singing like the same notes and then burst into harmony. That was always, and then when people would hear that, wow, how did you do, you know. But that was our signature even then. Sure. But, and he had a song called Christian Automobile. My life is like an automobile because I'm running for Jesus every day. You know?
You always
that was the name of it.
Worked it in there somehow.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Jackson, it sounds like there was just so much love, and doing this work really almost wasn't work with you all singing. Because
Mahalia, I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that when we went to her church, and she always sing right before they take the offering.
Sure, right.
And so she was singing. I was like, Dad, what's happening to my skin? I mean, there's something happening to my skin. Like it's crawling. I mean, it's. And Dad said, that's the Holy Spirit. He said that's the anointing that Mahalia has on her voice. Because she didn't, you know how these American Idol singers sing loud and hold the note long as they can. And that's not it. Make 10 runs out of one. Right. That's not it. It's that thing that's inside, that spiritual thing that comes out. Right. Probably the thing David had when he played the harp. For Saul. Yeah. But, you know, when she did, I said, wow, I want to sing like that. I just want, not that, you know, because she sang second alto. She was, you know, and I was an alto. Because Sheila's second soprano, Jeanette was first soprano. But my father, he could sing all the notes. And his voice could go higher than you would think. You know, he just had, for a guy, And so he would show each of us our parts, and he would always come and he would sing with us, even though he would play the guitar. When we did Shadrach, that was our theme song. When we first come to the pulpit, I would say on stage, the pulpit is Shadrach. There was 3 children from the land of Israel. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, took a lot of soul and made him an idol. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Oh, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The last one would always be go. You know, the wow song. But
and he wasn't a pastor, though.
No.
Wow.
But you know, every time we go somewhere, they would call him Pastor Joe. I mean, when they bring us sons, you know, bring us stuff, they would just call him Reverend Joe. And he wasn't, but people start thinking that. And then I start seeing it in print. I said, you know, it's just because people call him that.
Exactly right. It's just so amazing, though, to find that niche, but also not necessarily be a pastor, and then work you all into essentially
because he definitely had the anointing.
Yes.
Because we were like, you know, the apartment that we lived in the basement. So we rehearsed there when Dad would come in from the steel mill. And so he'd get up early because he wanted us to rehearse before we go to school. And so he would actually be working out parts for his group. That's how it started, him working out parts. And so we would come and say, oh, do this. And it's a new song he's going to show them. And so we start singing it. And so the landlord says, hey, you know, turn off that radio. Y'all got that radio too. And it was us that would, you know. But when he found out, he was really like, wow, your girls can really sing. You guys should do so. Anyway. But it was amazing the way Dad, and he had the anointing. And I wouldn't have said it then because I didn't know. Then, you know, I know now, but I just didn't know how anointed he was. And I said, I don't know why'd your father only play with 1 or 2, you know, with the fingers and not the pick? I don't know.
That's just why.
But he would always have the singing style he gave us. Dad and I would sing the lower parts, and then Sheila and Jeanette would usually sing the higher parts. And whatever the harmony was, we would join somewhere in the middle, and you could tell one is descending and one is ascending. And they say that happens, you know, Beethoven or some classical person. I don't know who else did it. And who told us that was Charles Stepney. Yeah, when we got with him.
Did you done a sonata, I believe?
You're right. How do you remember that? Oh, that was How Can You Stop Loving Someone? You remember that? But he said, but that's just how Dad would arrange the songs. And but he had that going on. And but after a while, when we became teenagers, because did I skip 12 and 13? Well, no, that was the TV show, radio show, and then the play. The musical that we did.
And what musical was that?
And all the time, I mean, at Easter time, we did about 5 or 6 years in a row at Fellowship Baptist Church, the biggest church in Chicago. And the pastor's grandson was Jesus. And his the sister-in-law was the one who cut the wife of the guy who cut off John the Baptist's head, you know, Salome.
Okay, wow.
Salome. So, but anyway, I'm just saying, we were the angels.
Okay, clearly. We weren't the emotions yet.
And so the lady who made our wings and everything, they had even the thing that where it looked like we were being lowered, but we were on this thing, but you couldn't tell from way back. Looked like we were just coming down at the right time to sing, be not dismayed, but whatever betide, God will take care of you. And we would sing that, you know. And anyway, so we did that for about 5 or 6 years, and we always came on TV, and so everybody in Chicago knew who we were. And so after a while, after that, matter of fact, we become 12, 13. They said, wow, have you ever, I mean, Pervert Staples.
I was going to ask.
The devil. No, not the devil. He's not the devil. I mean, my grandmother thought he was, because he brought up singing rock, rhythm and blues, and to her,
secular music
devil's music. But anyway, so he said, you know, because they're on his sister, then we're on Stax Records.
Right.
And they said, you know, they have a opening over there. You know, you guys should come over and, you know, do a show up at the Regal, and you know, you guys, the stair steps, the, you know. And so we did that. Yes. And that night that we were there, the guy Ronnie Millsap. Never had it so good. He a white guy that sang blues. He was blind. You maybe remember. Never had it so good.
Okay, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And he was out when Chuck Jackson and all of them were out. You know, it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But he was there, and he said, I don't have to see nothing to tell you who the winner is. He would. He told us that. I mean, he was telling the folks at the theater, but the audience, you know, that goes on the claps. And of course, we won that night and won the deal to Stax Records. And of course, Isaac Hayes became our producer because he produced Mavis and them and the Staple Singers. And Pops was dad. Oh, he loved that. They talked a lot. And but I didn't know he would. Roebuck, he was named after Sears and Roebuck, and I didn't know that. And he had a twin brother named Sears.
Really?
Oh, it was, well, everybody in Chicago knew it, but you know.
It didn't.
But it was just, so we Staple Singers got us through the 2 Stax.
Right, exactly.
And there we met up with, Jody's got your girl and gone, all of them. And we started writing with some of the people there with that. But when they heard So I Can Love You, they're like, who wrote this? Sheila. Wrote, yeah.
Right.
Come on back, come on back. I'm not ready to let you. But she always said, Sheila could always write. She could write a poem before there was a rap music.
Right.
Sheila rapped.
Right.
And but it would be poetry.
Of course, right. Which
in song.
is its core.
You know, and but anyway, she would do, and that was our 1969. That was the hit.
Right.
That did it, and Isaac Hayes with that. I mean, it was just. Anyway, he was magic.
Right.
And he had no formal knowledge of music.
I was just going to say, I wanted to talk about him because he would basically sing the parts.
Right.
He didn't write all of those.
He would go over there and show the, I mean, it'd be 60, there's a lot of them, violinists and everybody. Right. And he'd go over there and you think he's going to play, then he goes, this is it. Then
right.
I was like, oh, he did like me. Right. I mean, I learned how to play them, but he did like that. And then he would sing it. To him that when you heard you thought it was, but baby sat down and wrote it out. He had someone writing, writing it out, but he had it all up in his. It was almost like Dad, but you know, Dad just did it with us, and
it's amazing continuation there.
That is something. But anyway, they loved him, and it was wonderful. Well, we signed with them. Jeanette, I think, was the only one able to sign without Dad signing under her.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because we were 16, 17. Jeanette was 18.
Wow.
So she could sign. But anyway, that's how it started.
Right.
With Stax Records, and we did 2 more albums. And when we left there, it was a 74. Something happened with the company, and they went bankrupt. Right. And I don't know exactly what it was, but a lot of the folks there, like Mavis and them, and CBS.
Right.
It
so
looked like CBS was the next place to go. And then Maurice was doing Denise Williams at that time, and he was working with a guy, the jazz Ramsey Lewis.
Ramsey, right.
And so he's like, oh, you know, Denise got some songs for you guys. Oh, you guys should come on, you know, just to listen, see what. Right. And so we said, oh, okay. So we would meet over to Charles Stepney's house. Right. Well, we met in the basement of Charles Stepney's house. And this house is like brownstones. I don't know if you know how they're built up. And so when you go in the basement, you're like, what could be down there? You know, he had a big old say like that piano,
so the baby grand?
The baby grand.
Right, yeah.
How could you get that down here?
Exactly, right, they take them apart.
But he was down there. And so he said, well, you guys want to go to a concert? We're going to go. You want to go with me? Oh, sure, we'll go.
Why not?
Guess where he took us?
I have no idea.
Minnie Riperton was singing at the orchestra hall, and he was directing. I was like, we're not even dressed. He said, oh, you won't be in there. You're going to be sitting, right here on the stage. You'll be able to sit. I was like, oh my gosh, it was Minnie Riperton.
That's the name you hear every day.
Oh my gosh, and he's just so regular. I mean, he was just so. So anyway, so Charles, and the reason why we came over too, because Maurice had told him, I want you to see these girls. I want you to see if they have any, songs.
Things they could do.
They have. So I sat behind his piano, and I played I Don't Want to Lose Your Love.
Right.
And then I played How Can You Stop Loving Someone?
Right.
And when I started playing, dun, 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 he said, "Oh, you got that from Beethoven's 19." I said, "Who?
Right.
What?" I said, "I don't even know. I mean, I heard of Beethoven."
Sure, of course, right.
I surely didn't get this from no
repertoire.
Beethoven.
Right, exactly.
And he said, "No, that's his sonata. That's the sonata he wrote." Blah blah. I said, "Well, I don't know about that."
Right, sure.
I said, "I just know I wrote this."
Exactly.
And but he loved it.
I'll be copywriting this song.
Yes.
And you did 5 of your songs on the first.
And 5
album.
of the songs.
Just
And Reese doesn't do that, I understand.
Oh.
You know, he'll let some, you know, and then write something with them, but he let mine go on without a hitch.
Right.
And he took some other songs too. He knew we were going to be together more than one album, but
Right.
Flowers,
Yes,
you know, because he wrote that.
Yes.
And we did all of these songs in 1 week in Chicago
Wow.
at Paul Serrano's studio on 22nd and right by the lake, Lakeshore Drive.
Right. Wow.
And that was where they make that pepper. What is it? McCormick.
McCormick
Place.
Yes, right.
That was the name of it.
Right.
But anyway, it is right there by the studio. And we did everything with the drum, the bass, and the piano.
Right.
Oh, guitar. Yeah, it was just the
full
while
set.
we were singing
Right.
in the little room
Right,
that was
right.
in the
Not
studio.
little
We was in
parts,
that little
you do the whole song.
Yeah, it wasn't you go in there and play, and then y'all come back tomorrow and then you put
Sure. So is that,
it's like, how did we do all of that then? And now we spend
Right.
thousands of dollars
Exactly.
just to do 2 songs.
Right. Or and a couple of notes here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that without trying to be critical. Do you think there's something that makes doing it this way so authentic? That this is what makes it last throughout
Because
time?
what is it, you know, and there is no, how you say, no distance between the love of God and the, you know, the spiritual, how someone loves someone here or you love someone and they live thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
It's the same love. But something happens different.
Yes.
When you're in there and them guys are playing it, they doing that Flowers track and we hold the key and we're singing with Verdine and them playing on the bass.
Exactly.
It's another thing.
Yes.
Digital cannot match it.
Yeah, I don't think
Never
so.
has.
Sure.
You know, I think that's how the rappers broke out.
Sure. Right.
They couldn't reproduce that either.
Right. That's a
But
challenge.
I'm just saying, I think that was the way to go.
Right.
You know, and you're in there, and that's how we did even with Isaac and them. They would let us. There was something that some people knew happened when the artist, and if they could really sing, and they didn't have to make up a voice,
right,
you know.
or autotune,
But,
or auto-tune, or any of those things.
Then it comes off on the other musicians because that's the same spirit, that gift of, you know, and then some have it and some don't, you know. So that's where you get performers, and then you get, you know, singers.
Right,
who can
right,
really
right,
sing,
exactly.
you know. But and we noticed the difference.
Sure.
You know, I always carry, even when I was, you know, I still carried my little cassette.
Sure. Right.
And I would still do that in the room.
Right.
I ain't got to go look for a chord. Go get this. Somebody come hit this button.
Right. No.
You know, just
Exactly.
the cassette.
Right.
And you just singing into it.
Right.
And then you get it with the guitar player. And then you got, I mean, that was the way to do it. And then you had a, how you say, in multiples, there are one, you know, when all the spirits come together and then it's a one thing. That's that one that happens when you marry.
Sure. Right.
You know, you marry, you get, but you become one.
Right.
Or the same thing with music.
Yes.
You know, and that's why I did have a problem, and my daughters had to straighten me out, YN especially, about how the rappers go into that scenario.
Sure.
And but there is music, you know, but it doesn't come first.
Right.
And then it's poetry, and that is a musical thing. I do understand that.
Yeah.
So and I got with it after a while, you know, but I really could get. When I would sing I Don't Want to Lose Your Love when I first showed it to Maurice, I had like about 7 verses. I think it was like 10 minutes long. He said, Wanda, you know how long a 45 is? So we were dealing with 45s. 3 minutes and the most 3 minute 55, 3 minute 30.
Right.
You know. And I said, okay, so what does that mean? You know, he said about 3 verses and a chorus and then you in the tag.
Right.
I said, oh, okay. So, and I wrote it like a torch song, like Tina Turner.
There we go. Sure.
You know, you start off, you know, you telling the story first, you know. I go, dinner's ready, da-da-da-da-da. And the wine's too, da-da-da-da-da. The baby's coming on, da-da-da-da. No, Maurice, Wanda, why don't we speed that up a little bit? Right. I said, I'm going to speed it up. I just don't do it at the beginning. Right. But anyway, he had good ideas, and and they worked. Right. And I just love writing with him. I miss him so much. Yeah. He's a good one. Sure. One of the good ones.
Along those lines, I didn't want to be remiss and talk a little bit about Boogie Wonderland, because that is not something that everybody may realize how instrumental you all were in pulling that together.
Boogie Wonderland happened in the 80s. Right. Because Maurice had gone to New York to do Sgt. Pepper. There was a movie coming out.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've heard a little bit.
Yeah. And while he was there, Benjamin Wright, who now writing with Justin Timberlake. Yeah, because we was like, nobody's doing R&B, nobody but Justin. Sure. Right. Well, he's got Ben Wright. Sure. I said that, but that's not you, Justin. I know you. Sure. But still. Right. But anyway, Benjamin helped bring. He was there with Sgt. Pepper. He said, "Well, the girls are in the studio and they're doing this song." Allie and them called him. Who wrote Allie and John. Wrote the lyrics, and they said they got this song Boogie Wonderland. He played for, they got to do it. The guy said, I'm going to send this to him, but we're doing blah, blah, blah. He said, no, you got to go in and do this song. Sure. Wow. And he was right. And what happened, Smile had just come out, I believe, because that was in the 80s, 85, I think. And it was disco coming in. Exactly, right. And it was a little different than, because we had this song in the UK that was so famous there, nobody here knew about it. I Should Be Dancing, that was the name of it. Sure. But it was so disco, you should all these French people, they just loved it. With Amsterdam, I was like, I should be dancing. I'm like, what are they talking about? With Smile is out, but it's out in America, but there, it was, anyway, so, but we got used to it, but I did not the disco, because to me there was no relief. It was 80 bars, 116 bars of the same thing. And I was like, that ain't me. I got to change up and, I got to drop some soul in there. Yeah, got to have some gospel somewhere. Exactly. But anyway, and that was the reprieve with my grandmother, I was going to say. Yes. They told her that don't worry, they will always do a gospel song on the album. So it was the only way she would let you go. And she was like, okay, because that's your rhythm. I said, well, you fell in love with Grandpa. That wasn't a devilish thing. I said, so we're talking about that kind of love, We're not talking about love as in the streets. We're talking about the love that's, between human beings. Yes, pure love. But anyway, so.
I wanted we did tease into that though a little bit, because the lyrics, beyond the purity and the sincerity, they just speak so much to people's relationships and coming from the heart, as opposed to maybe being a little bit too crass.
Like, show me how. Right. All the rappers, they already know how. Sure, right. So they can't show me that, because you already know everything. Right. I want somebody who don't know everything. Right. And that make that you got something to look forward to. Sure. If you already know anything, that's why you can just go pick them off of a, you took off of a sign or something, and then that's who you go out with. Sure. But But that's the same way as the online stuff. That's why people are getting in so much trouble. Right. I don't think that was meant for, like my mama said, that microwave thing, it wasn't meant for us. Some things just ain't meant for you. It look good. It has all the,
putting the hard work in and building relationships and talking to each other with respect and working on communication.
And some relationships are finding that out. Now, and they are sharing, and that's good. Not enough of them, but it does happen. Yes. I'm doing it. So, but I just think it helps. But show me how, going into the lyrics, because when Sheila sang about So I Can Love You, it was about a prom, a dance she was asked to go to. And then this other girl that liked her boyfriend wanted to go too, and came and told her that he asked me first. I mean, but it's something that just happens,
Of course.
It's nothing to get mad about, to go get your man and get this, and put up your hair, and, it's just not that. But that's what So I Can Love You is about. Yeah. And Show Me How, Isaac Hayes, there's so many things. I just don't know. Come on and teach me. Sure. And that's good. Sure. That's an opening. Sure. Yes,
we have to give a few seconds to a song that so many people have covered, Don't Ask My Neighbor. and the lyrics and the song.
Yes.
I mean, it's just incredible. Tell us
Skip
just a little bit about the
Scarborough.
story.
Oh my gosh, he's the You Can't Hide Love man, you know.
Right.
He wrote that.
Yes.
All that Rotary Connection stuff, he used to be in that group. But Skip Scarborough called Maurice up. We're in town listening to all these songs. Sure. Prince brought over some songs, but he wasn't Prince then.
That's right.
He was Roger. He was somebody.
Right. Nelson.
And and he came over and we were upstairs. He was up there playing with the video. I mean, well, not video. Sure. It was those slot, you know, the machines, and you see
pinball.
the thing, pinball machine.
Right.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's up there playing. He was so shy.
Right. You're talking about Nelson, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Prince. And he had this song, and he was showing to Marie. I was just crying my eyes out. Wow. I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Yeah. I don't know why we didn't do it. Well, I kind of knew it later, but I didn't know why. It had to do something with their managers. It had nothing to do with the song.
Sure. Right.
You know how that is. Sure. And but I hated that because he really wanted us to sing. And we didn't know he was going to be Prince, exactly. You know. But, I mean, if I had anything, we would have done it then. And but he did. He wrote this song that you would have loved if you like Neighbors. Yes. Oh, my God. And see, Prince had another heart. Yes. You know, the songs that he wrote, even, you know, Little Red Corvette. I mean, it's something, an everyday thing that he brings to the core, you know, and it don't have to be so important or you know, extravagant. You know, just something everybody can relate to. Right. And that's what he did. I really enjoyed him. And Maurice would let him come in. He didn't let nobody in the studio. Just like he would let me come in on the other people that he did, you know. He would let nobody. He said, Wanda, you don't say anything. I'll let you come in with Ramsey, and Ramsey will tell you, and I know Ramsey. And he don't like nobody to come in, but he was okay because I don't say anything. I was just soaking it up. Right. I was like, wow, this the jazz. I don't think I've ever written jazz, but anyway, jazz. And then you had Maurice, who was the R&B soul funketeer, and then not Ramsey, Charles Stepney. Yes. Who had everything, Minnie Riperton, who had, you know, he had all that, and then all of the classical. Because after we did that Orchestra Hall thing, we went back to see him, because he played with, which I never went to Orchestra Hall before. I think we went on a trip with the school or something. But after that, I had to go, because there was actually some music that I liked. That when I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, this, you know, it might be long hair, but it's good. Right, still. You know, I mean, Taylor Swift. Sure. I mean, I just, you know, bring it out there. I felt that way about her. I was like, but I like her. I mean, I just like her. You know, there's something there. Right. You know, you can't write everybody off. Right. No. Just because, you know, whatever. And, or just because they can dance good. Sure. Right. You know, some, you know, you can. Sure. But that's okay, because they're entertaining. Right. They're filling some need for somebody. Right. You know, but I like to go and hear something that, oh gosh, I wish I could do. Oh, I want to sing that. Now I want to sing that, because that's
it touches you.
Yes, because that's the ultimate compliment. Sure. Now, one way to see that is Mariah Carey, and she was on MTV. I mean, this is really something, because I was sitting in the apartment and she's up there. She's like, so what do you think about everybody getting on you? The lady asked her about you singing an emotion in the song, and about her calling it the emotions or something like that, and you got something sounding like the emotions, and she said people were upset with it. I didn't see why. I thought it was the most complimentary thing, and she called me. Really? I was like, how did you know my number? Well, the person that was talking to her knew Maurice's number. Interesting. And they called me and said, well, what do you think? You know, and she wanted to know what I thought. And I was like, I thought it was an honor. Sure. Just an honor, you know, that someone would say that, you know, that you wanted to sing a song that sounded like the emotions. Even though I don't think it sounded like the emotions, but the fact that it does. Elements, but it's some elements. You're right. You're right. That's it. Because the way her melody, oh gosh, wasn't nobody like her. But you know, so it all depends. You know, something for everybody. And anyway, that's a good one. Yeah. But you were saying when you brought that up, how
just the way the lyrics and the music.
Skip, Scarborough, and that Mariah, because I like her writing too. Whitney. Yes. Now, see, the people that I would go see, that would be the people I go see.
They can
it's
sing.
somebody else. Huh?
They can sing.
They can sing, you know. And like my girl Frida.
Sure. Right.
Because
Yes.
Frida would tell a story in her face and with her song, you
Right.
know. I love her. I just love Frida. Because she's everything in one.
Yes.
She's just, she has a little more to go, you
Right,
know,
sure.
but she'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
She'll do it. And Kelly is a real one.
Sure, yes,
Real
yes, she
true.
sings,
When I first saw her,
Right.
I thought, oh, over there, she's going.
Right.
Yeah,
she's
and
gonna do
Ruben
it.
would have too. You know, I
Sure.
think there was, you know, maybe
Right.
some managerial things.
Sure.
But he was too.
That's right.
When we went to his town in Ohio, was it Cleveland, I think? That's where the Hall Rock of Fame is.
Right, right.
So he was doing something there, or they were inducting somewhere. So we were there, and we went over there, and they asked if we had anything we could present to the museum.
Sure.
And
Nice.
so we had some costumes that we, anyway, so we presented them. And then they inducted us a couple of years after that. And I was like, oh my gosh, but to see that place.
Yeah,
And
it's
Ruth
amazing.
Brown, baby,
Right.
you
Oh,
still, oh girl, you something else. And that, she can remember, she's a computer.
Right. Wow.
You know, to be her, and she can remember everything. I was like,
Wow, she's
my
good.
goodness. But anyway, I just love seeing, you know,
Right.
the ones that come out of there.
Sensing the talents there,
Yes.
the passion, and also there's a sincerity and just the quality they
Yeah.
can bring.
Now I wanted to do one as to how the, you know how people make the melismas, which are runs,
Right,
you
sure,
know, that they go into. Can you make runs like the emotions?
Right.
Can you do wow at any time in
Right.
any after the 16th what you call it, and you're not singing the same thing?
Right.
Can you stay out of the monotonous?
Right. Right.
You know,
So,
without being overbearing, without giving too much.
right. Right. The show is called Music and Medicine.
Oh, yes.
And what does that mean when you hear that?
Music and medicine. Music and medicine to me, it means grounded. So it's like a grounding for me. Everything was taught to me in song. When Dad, even if he would correct us, did not tell you not to do nothing, did not,
Oh,
because he
wow.
wouldn't want to make things so
Right.
serious that you
Yeah.
would just go, you know, you get a
Right.
mind thing,
Sure.
Daddy used to call it, a mind thing, and then you grow up with, I can never be good enough, I
Right.
can never do this. But it's just that, anyway. But I think that it does that. That's how I did my children.
Right.
I would go get the spoon. I'll be
Okay.
getting the spoon. Hold out your hand. Did not tell you not to do. I mean,
I love it.
but you know, but the singing part, I think there's a healing in
Yes.
music,
Yes.
and there is that spiritual part
Yes,
of it, just
absolutely.
like we know it's in everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything that's life is in, like plants, and
Sure.
that's why they love when you sing to them.
Yes. Exactly.
And
Right. They feel better.
we
They
know
do.
that.
Sure.
Yes, it's that, and the same with our limbs.
Yes. Right.
You know, music helps. And then with David and Saul,
Yes.
we've talked about that,
Right.
how he kept him from going insane, playing that harp. But there is a place for music with medicine. I know we would come, we had a group at our church,
Right.
still does, West Angeles, and we would go and pray for those who were in the hospital.
Right.
And my team, well, most people might know them, so I won't say
Sure,
all their names,
Okay, sure.
but my baby, Akusawa,
Right.
Busia, the children's godmother,
Right.
we would go and sing, and I would start out singing "Blessed," something
Right, sure.
they knew,
Right.
and then we would sing about the doctor. I didn't know the doctor.
Sure.
I just start singing that the Lord has given him that gift,
Right.
which He has, which is healing, and there is no
Right.
disgust. How you say? There's no sorrow that He can't heal. There's no wound He can't cover.
Sure.
There's no heartbreak He can't mend.
Sure.
You know, so those things we know that with age, because
Right.
I would hear about it
Right, right. But
because
when you
you
start to
know when I
experience it-
hear Mahalia and them singing about it,
Sure,
you know,
right.
of course. But there is a timbre that happens, and I felt it when, like I said, when Mahalia Jackson, when I would see some of the other groups, but especially Mahalia, that was the one that really, I mean, it was like what are you doing?
Right,
Why
right.
is
You
your
can feel
skin moving, or it's getting hot, or there's
Right.
this, you know. And that's that anointing.
Yes,
and that anointing happens even in, when doctors come and give you a diagnosis, there is an anointing. See, anointing means that thing that rests upon, that falls into and stays in and works from inside out. Right. Just like exercises, isn't that the way? Right. The fast one works outside in, and then the others this one works inside out. Wow. The music. Because that's what music does. It's a medicine that works inside out. Sure. And then to lay upon your hands the way the Lord has showed his disciples. Right. He said, now everything I show you now, I told you 3 or 4 times in the Bible, so all you got to do is listen. Right. But some of us are hard to listen.
So,
Me
need a little
too.
Bit more time.
Yeah. Right. And my first 2 chapters or books that I ever read in the Bible at teenager was Proverbs and Psalms. Why? Because they gave you that in Sunday school. Exactly. Everybody got that little, you got that little, because everything in Proverbs, your grandmama used to say, the bird in the hand is better than something in the bush. All of that is in Proverbs. Sure. So when you read those things, you say, oh, grandmama used to say that. Or somebody else used to say, because Solomon was the wisest man that God made. And but he asked for it. Yeah. Remember, Solomon asked her. He said, "What can I get? Oh, I just want to be the wisest man, so I can, teach our people, your people, how to live in this thing and how to get through it, And he thought that was the best gift, but we all know what the best gift is. It was love. Yes. And because it covers all things, even the mistakes that you made. I made a lot of mistakes. Everyone makes them, and. But the forgiveness, that comes in. And then there's songs of forgiveness. You come up with your own. I used to while I was running around Griffith Park. I love coming up with Jesus is a rock in a weary land, rock of my soul in the bosom of Abraham, rock of my... And I would just go, oh, where's the other one? He's the rock on my head. He is the rock. Leadeth me in the path of righteousness. And I just make up from everything that I learned. With the first things you learned in Bible school or something, I would remember them. And I don't know, I don't try to remember it. It just comes out of me. And that let me know there's a gift to it. Sure, yes. Because there's no way I can remember that. I'm not that smart. Sure, right. But the spirit don't have to be smart. Right. All it has to do is feel and represent and receive and disperse. That's all. Nothing else. And then no books. It's 50,000 chapters, these and thous. People say, I just can't get through it, all of these and thou. Right. But y'all can get. Heart. Yes, there you go. Mm-hmm. You can get through all this rap stuff. You can get through that. Exactly. If you can see what they saying, you can do this. But anyway, I'm so glad the Lord has anointed me in that way. Sure. And I love doing it. I love people seeing it and hearing about it later. Sure. Sometimes I don't even see them. Right. And I'll be singing somewhere, and we go to singing somewhere, and people just, they'll come back there, you pointed to me when you said that. So I didn't point it to you. But, the Lord knows who to bless. Yes. Yeah, he knows who needs a blessing. Sure. And that's the way I receive it.
Sure. And that's the last thing I want to ask you about, just because we could talk forever.
Yeah.
What you feel the most in terms of the blessing that it's been to be able to minister to so many generations. Yeah. Coming over here, I'm hearing your songs. No matter what, it is the soundtrack of almost every radio station plays any of those genres to this day. What types of blessings or what types of feelings
Well,
do you
I'm
have
telling
about
you, because my generation, which is here and now, my daughters, who are coming right alongside me, and they're school teachers. Mm-hmm. And so all of their schools, I'd come to the graduations and sing the song at the end and tell them about it, and then they would talk about it. And I was like, So I never thought I'd be singing at different graduations. But come to think of it, the same kids that are there come with their parents to our shows, which is cool. Because we couldn't come to the rappers. Don't take me there, But some of them, not all of them. And there's a way, to get some things over. And some people have, a way of representing, like Chance. I love you, Chance. I got a song for us too. But okay, and but that's the blessing, and that it has saw through my kids through getting their college education. Because I've sung "Best of My Love," 3 million, 5 million times maybe. And then, there goes that one. Oh, there goes her college. There go her. What's the last payment you paid? You know. We finally finished paying off that one. But I said that's the blessing. And the Lord knew it. He said the gifts that I give you will see you through till I come. So I wonder what gifts He gave you. You got to figure out what's your gift. You know, and if it ain't seeing you through, maybe you haven't found it yet. You know. But it does. It sees you through. Yeah, He do. And then we get to meet wonderful people like you and your family.
It's just amazing. No, it's been such a blessing. Thanks so much for doing this. Thanks so much for sharing and just the music and your heart. And I mean, what came across, just to debrief, although we could do that for hours too, is just the sincerity and the love of the music that you've so enjoyed, almost effortlessly giving. I mean, you know, 5 songs on the first album. I mean, unheard of. Just such a blessing to spend time in your presence.
Thank you so much. All righty. Thank you, darling.
Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.